It is not the critic who counts, nor the man who points out how strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there's no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasm, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place should never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. This is The Man by the Arena by Taylor Roswell. This is Man Matters. Welcome to the show with Nate, myself, episode 30. How's it going?
I don't know. That's a crazy. What do you call that? It's not a poem,
No,
right?
it's part of a speech that he had.
Speech. Okay.
I can't remember the speech, something about the Republic, but it was like, that's a abstract from their citizenship in a republic. That's where it came from, the speech. They had.
Yeah, that's, I don't know. It's crazy how true that is. But
Yeah. He also come from a man that was well involved in martial arts, testing himself in exploring and hunting. A man's man. Back then, Theodore Roosevelt, he was like putting into words those kind of challenges and how do you go to dare to do greatly at the same time.
he was used to putting himself out there, and honestly, yeah, he accomplished a lot because of it. But
Yeah. Subject we want to talk about how overcoming adversity and those kind of setbacks and hiatus, you know, in like, for example, in martial arts right now, or like whatever endeavor you're in, and how do athletes cope with mental challenges and injuries, losses, or career interruptions? Because they have two sides. Whenever you have injury, you really have to get silent. You can't force it, which is understandable. And you have losses that, they said the fastest way to bounce back from a loss is to get to your next match and get a win, to give you something to like kind of like bounce back. But then you have career interruptions, which things happen in life. What are you two examples that you can think of there were?
of like getting back to it, or what do you mean?
Based off like being, like, how like do you cope with it, like those kind of challenges?
I mean, I've done a fair amount of reading on like coping with like injuries and stuff like that. As far as like injuries go, I've heard a lot of people say like visualization, showing up to training and study. Not necessarily like, even if you can't go through, you can't personally participate and you can't go through the motions. You come and you watch. You study moves and visualize yourself doing them. Actually, I have a book and I've read most of it. It's called With Winning in Mind, and it's about a guy it's a book by a guy who he won, I think it was the Olympic skeet shooting competition, and he hadn't trained for it at all, like any live training. He said he would go out every evening and he would visualize himself shooting the clay pigeons, and he would visualize for a certain period of time. But like I don't know if it was like a year or two beforehand, he had no live training. And he came out and he won it. And he's just talking about the techniques that he used to visualize, to believe that he was going to win. Just going through the practice motions in your mind. So he was kind of creating I don't know, what do you call it? The pathways, I guess they say.
The mental pathways.
When you're training. He was working to develop those, even though he couldn't do it with a real gun. He would still visualize in his backyard, and it worked well for him. But I've heard that from like Gordon Ryan as well, who's had plenty of setbacks, where he studies and he will like think through techniques, think through different scenarios, and that is his training for certain time periods.
Yeah, but also you have to remember he has the best guy to teach him that, because then I wasn't injury, have physical disabilities that are unable to do certain moves. I was able to like do mental, like that guy is like He reminds me of Professor X from the X-Men when it comes to like jiu-jitsu.
Yes. Yeah.
His mental game is the next level.
It's true. But yeah, I mean, as far as injuries go, I mean, I've heard a lot of that sort of thing. Just like you got to keep kind of like filling your mind with it, regardless, even if you can't physically do it.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Other like losses and things like that. Other losses like in the sport, they're one thing, but then you have losses. For example, the example of Vito Belfort, whenever he lost his sister, just like how do you bounce back from that? You have to already have a match schedule, and you have to go out there and compete. Yeah, other people, which I don't know, the German weightlifter, that he was prepared for the Olympics. I can't remember. It was Rio, I think. He's getting ready for Rio, Brazil Olympics, and his wife died. Went out there. He got his PR, and he won't go. And he was showing the picture of his wife at the podium.
Yep.
Like,
yeah, I saw that. That's crazy.
that's a hard loss. If you think about it, any losses in life other than death is purely mental. But when that happens, you have death or you lost a loved one. Like it's hard to bounce back and be like yourself. Another example of career interruption I think of is GSP because he was in the top whenever he left the sport. I had this 13 against Johnny Hendricks. He had to take some time off because he thought that PEDs were rampant in the sport and people were still competing. And there he had to. It's not like the game passed him. It's just the sport was not clean as he would like to. But then he came back and won.
He had some pretty serious physical ailments as well, though. Didn't he have ulcerative colitis or something like that?
That was after after that Bisping fight.
Okay.
He had it because he was eating so much. He was trying to eat up to 185. Yeah. Because he said he walks around 185. So I had to make himself look big to Bisping. And that's why he developed that ulcerative colitis, according to him.
That's crazy. I mean,
because you look at the GSP at 185 versus now, it's like, doesn't look anything like, because it look like
yeah,
you can make 155 right now.
Right. Yeah, he's small now.
You barely seldom you see that happen. Most of like athletes, whenever they stop competing, look at DC, they blow up.
Yes. They go the other direction.
Yeah. I think Euro Romero is like 230 right now. If you 185, he's their boss, he's just pure, he's a freaking tank. Yeah. Romero.
I think though, I mean, I guess we're getting off topic, but I think part of the reason GSP is trimmed down or like, he stayed very fit. I mean, he's very lean. I think he talked about it. I think he said he has the warrior mentality versus the fighter mentality. It's part of his life. He's not doing it for the fights. He's doing it because it is his life. He's continually training. I don't know how much like martial arts training he does right now. I know he does a lot of like fitness training, a lot of calisthenics, but I'm pretty sure he talked about that in one of the podcasts that he was on. Is that that's his mentality, what he tries to maintain.
Yeah, I think I've seen that too, because it was be like more like a martial artist part, right?
Yes, that's right.
Because he wanted to just work on the art of the martial arts, and you see videos of him versus Roger Gracie when he wasn't even competing. You go train with Jake Shields, Hansel's team. You go to Dana Harris, go with Gordon Ryan and other people, just trying to get better for his matches. And then whenever he came back, because whenever he was on the top, he left. He was winning a lot of decisions, close matches. He was able to almost get an armbar on Hardy. He was trying to like beat Josh Koscheck in boxing because he had Freddie Roach in there. He had a nice jab there, but he wasn't really finishing fighters. And then he came back up to 185. He dropped Bisping and he submitted him in a really show. Actually, choked him out. Bisping. In that match. So he's trying to show his improvement even when he was off.
Yeah. Now that's really cool to see. It's hard to do. It takes a lot of discipline, but I mean, he's living it.
That's why he has a lot of mental help too.
Yes.
There's a lot of counseling and the sports psychologists. Says they help him, especially if there's a Sarah match. As other athletes, they do that. Like back in the day, they have like counselors and things like that for athletes, like sports psychologists. And like, well, for example, one of the big wrestling teams right now is Oklahoma State that had David Taylor. And on their staff, they should have a head coach, assistant head coach, and you have like different, and then in the staff, they show nutritionists, they show a sports psychologist, all this, a new game that has helped athletes perform better aspect. And it also help when there were setbacks. If your hardware is working, but your software is not firing all cylinders, it's something they have to deal with, just like an injury to a limb, something like that.
Yeah, no, that's for sure the truth. I mean, yeah, without a doubt. I mean, you see so many. That is, I feel like, a very underrated aspect. You see people, I don't know, it's so many top fighters who have gone like undefeated for a long time, and they get their loss and then they just cannot recover. Like, it's a very, very real thing that I really think people don't understand.
Yeah, that, and also another example is fighters that are really good, except for championship fights. Kenny Florian, that's the example I can think of. 155 against Sean Sherk, 155 against BJ Penn, 145 against Jose Aldo. He was able to work himself over, like, defeating people, finishing them. But championship fights came in. Craig Jones, for example,
Yes.
Silver King. He's able to, like, be able to perform during matches, but like, when it comes to championship matches, it just doesn't seem like that is that step that I have to take to become a champion, which a lot of people work for being a champion, but it's just that one step that's like just something missing there.
That's a really interesting point. Yeah, I feel like it's easy to see people like Craig Jones, who's, known as like the second best, and think like the mental can't really affect him that much anymore. You know what I mean? Because he's been at the highest levels of competition. Like, even if he's not the top, even if he's not the champion, like, he is at the top, and he is a phenomenal grappler. I think it's easy to discount the mental effects that even they have.
Yeah, because he just right there at the door, just one position from first
Mhm.
place, and
Mhm.
something I don't know what it is. He's just not able to perform, like, to get there. Like, for example, that EBI against Gordon, he almost submitted Gordon in the
Yeah.
first EBI.
Yeah.
Was
I
it
think
armbar?
Gordon admitted that he broke his arm.
Was it armbar? I
Yeah.
can't remember what it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, just that close. And I wonder if those right there, like, for example, have you ever, I can't remember which book it was. I think it was Malcolm Gladwell, tipping point about near misses, in which, like, whenever you, like, people were like in London, whenever they're getting hit by bombs, at first they were afraid, but then, like, whenever they start surviving, they lost that fear. You think that, the same thing goes the opposite way? When you, like, getting so close, like, you get a second place, you get used to, like, apathy to a certain extent. That, oh, I made it this far. If I lose, it's fine. I wonder if it has something to do because you just used to losing those big matches.
Yeah, it's hard to say if it's apathy.
Mm-hmm.
I truly have no idea. I mean, I guess it definitely could be. Yeah, that is a good question. I truly don't know. Do you? What
No,
are
I'm
your
not.
thoughts on it?
No, I was just wondering because it's just like getting like used to it. Because I've seen people that are compete like in wrestling and they do well like in the beginning matches, and then in the finals they just lose those matches. I understand that format because it's a tournament. It depends. By the end of the day, you're freaking tired. You have all day waiting, then not eating well. It's understandable. But also, like, every tournament, you rush through the whole first few rounds, and then at the end, they're able to, like, perform.
I wonder how much of it is. I would think that is maybe not as much apathy as it is like a mental block.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Like, not that they don't care. It's just that, like, there's almost a belief that they develop that,
Oh, you think it's something like imposter syndrome,
yeah, exactly. Yep. Yep.
kind of like that?
Yep.
Because like, am I the best in the world? I don't know.
Yeah. Like, yeah, they just don't quite believe that that's where they deserve to be, or, that, like, this is just always the way that it goes. So that's just the way that it's going to go.
Uh-huh.
Because I do think that with a lot of the champions, I think that's why they end up winning, is because they have that belief that, this is where I belong. So of course I'm going to win.
Yeah.
I really think that goes through a lot of champions' minds.
But that you think where sports psychology will come in handy with those uh, performers that are not able to get that spark on the finals?
It's possible. I mean, that does seem like it would be maybe what they're missing.
The missing pieces for the puzzle.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, yeah. I mean, undeniably, that's the kind of the thing that goes through my head. And, that is kind of what separates the very greatest people from those who are really good. It's just that mental, capacity, I think.
Deals to overcome in they just have the winning mentality. Like they have like, but the personality sucks though. But besides that, they're
Yeah.
like for example, Brady, he has the personality of this mouse right here. Like, like he's like, but like all you know is winning. That's what you focus on. That's what it's like. There's the running joke that you want to be good at jiu-jitsu, you need autism. That's a personality.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think, and I guess it kind of brings into question how does that develop? Because you think about people like Tom Brady, and he was really, really good, but I think he's one of those champions that did not take hard work for granted. You know what I mean? Because I truly believe he was working extremely hard, above and beyond people of his level.
Not
You
as
know what I
good as
mean?
his wife jiu-jitsu coach though.
Yeah, apparently not hard enough, but
Well, yeah, like as far as like longevity, because he was able to stay that good for that long and be on the top two. Be
hmm
competitive.
yeah. So does it kind of brings into question, like, is that mentality developed, or is it kind of, I don't know. I hate to say I hate to make a huge deal out of something that maybe isn't, but it does seem like certain people have it and certain people do not. And
They
it
think it
makes
has to
me,
do with that. I don't know when I take it there, but I don't know if it has to do something with ego because you have to be studying of the game and be willing to learn that you stay in the game. But when you stop learning, you don't want to learn anymore. You think you have everything figured out. That's when life comes to hit you in the ass and like, oh man, that's not how it works anymore.
right.
Because for him, he had to like be able to learn. And as time going by, he adjusted his diet, he adjusted his training, even during the off season. So to be able to like stay up on top.
Right. Yeah. I mean, has to too, because I mean, he played till he was like older as well.
Uh-huh.
Um, so his body's not functioning the same as it used to. So I mean, that definitely takes some development. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the hard work develops confidence for sure, but I think there's more to it in that you have to have like a pride or something that helps you bounce back as well.
Yeah, because you take pride in your work, but what do you do whenever you're unable to work as hard? Because like all the time it's undefeated, no matter what. So you have to get those extra reps mentally to be able to like, and then of course you have to do. That's one of the point I want to talk about was about like training methods, like to get back to peak performance because there's other methods back in the day. Just jump in that ice tub and like to ice up and then just go out there. Like for recovery, but now you have crowd therapy, you have all the like make like percussion, like for example the Tin Tam or like the all the kind of like those Terragun, like most massage and different things in which you can take with you mobile anywhere you go. You can use those. You have those compression boots and things that you can use as well for recovery. Just get you better back in the game faster than before. Because just like this innovation that you have to do, being be able to get back in there when because you have to be able to work hard. But man, recovering takes a while, and I see why a lot of people go pharmaceutical supplements
Yeah.
and supplements.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
but
definitely.
yeah, but those are only like a band-aid for your pride or like the confidence that you have to have because you have to be it's in your head. Another good thing to have is good teammates to help you build your confidence as well. Because in order to use to perform, you have the confidence to perform well. you will just show up in there and just be another body.
Yep, that's true. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's for sure. Yeah, I think that comes into play a lot in there's a lot of guys that work really hard training. There's guys that do really well in training, but then go out and then not do well in competition.
Yeah, they call those all-stars practice guys,
Mhm.
all-American practice.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's a fairly common thing. Would you say in that case, do you think it's like mostly a mental block at that point? That's probably has to be, right?
Yeah, it has to be, because if you're confident enough to hit those moves when you are in the practice room, you'll be able to hit them in matches. And I want to go back to like recording your matches in practice and then record your matches as well, competition, and see what the difference is. So that's the way you can be able to see the difference.
That's interesting. Yeah.
If you are confident, okay, that's able to hit this move in there. This is the same guy, me, doing this move in practice. Why am I not doing it in this match?
Right, but I didn't even try it in the match.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm. That is interesting. Yeah, I feel like that would be pretty effective method of at least, yeah, I mean, I feel like in some ways that would just build confidence in that, you know what I mean? You can see where you're not competing to your potential.
Yeah. Instead of just feeling it, because you feel like, because you have so much variables that you have to take consideration when you go into competition, then practice. Practice, you just grabbing ass with your friend and they're just practicing. But when you're in competition, you go in there, you have to like make sure you warm up, you stretch, things like that. And then one thing, okay, so this weekend I was helping with one of the local high school, and this kid, he's a 215-pounder. The school I was helping, and he made it to the finals, and he was going against this kid that he went early on the week, and he ragdolled him. The kid ragdolled him in the match. They're like, okay, it's fine. If just think about, if you lose this match, the season is not over. You still be able to face this guy. But let's go back to the last match. Where do you feel comfortable when you're against this guy? So I went over that. Now, what's his number one shot that he goes for usually when they try to get you down? Okay, so this right here. So, okay, if he goes for that one, this is how you defend it. And don't think about finishing the match. Think about going the whole match. If you're able to wear him out and just suffocate him, stop his one takedown, he's gonna get himself in bad position, and you're able to catch him. Go for your takedown, and from there, that match when so the match started, I guess the guy was able to just get him double, pick him up and dump him. He went his back, and then he like try to get up and stuff like that. He was able to roll and switch him, and he pinned the guy in the first period. I think it's first period. And the guy was like, "Oh my god, like yes, that's what you need. Just get out of your head. Sometimes you just have to get out of your head. Get out of the head. Just break down what you saw, the what you know, and just making rest. Sometimes, even though it was his match that he was competing, he lost the first. Things man, things in life won't go right every time. For things to go wrong, you have to make the right adjustments to be able to find a way to win. In which he is able to, and he could believe that he was able to got in his bag and pin him. He's like, oh god, like yeah, just you're able to like just break it down and just go there, just break it down where you're good, break it down what he's good at, stuff what he's bad at, good at, force into you good rest of your match, and then you'll be able to win.
Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty, wow. That makes sense. I think it's easy to get caught up in what somebody else is good at. I feel like we've talked about that before, is that, and something you've mentioned is that, sometimes you focus too much on the other person's game and not enough on your own, not enough on doing the things you're good at. You're too focused on avoiding the things that they are. It sounds like that's what's the good balance is, kind of stuff what they're trying to get and lead them into your game. And that's really the objective, is to lead them into your game.
Yeah, you don't want to like, for example, if you are a grappler, you want to get a striker, you don't want to go strike, like go. You want to flank them and you just go like in battle. You want to flank them and get it where they're weak at. They're not good at. If they're good at something, if they like something, okay, we just go there, but I should have to find a counter for that and then forcing into my game. Because you want to go attack somebody with your Achilles and with your Achilles heel.
Yeah.
But it's just a mental game. Just getting there. Don't get to focus on bad things. Like just work your game, work your match. You have to like get there because things go wrong all the time. But just have work your match. And like for example, that video example I was talking about, you're able to see those good things that you're good at in video. You have to force it in the match as well. So when you feel it then in practice, you feel it in also in competition. I'm right here. Go there.
That's interesting. One experience that I had, I guess that would be an interesting one, is when we went down. There was a few of us who went down to Atlanta for a quintet, whatever it was. There's 4 of us on the team.
Was that with Shell?
What's up?
Was that with Shell?
Yes. Yeah. I was second in line, and so the first 2 guys go out, and the guy on the opposing team just came right out of the gate and he ended the match very quickly. It submitted our guy very quickly. And so like we were down 1 and I knew it coming out. It was like, okay, well, it's my chance to try to make it up. And I will say in that match, I ended up submitting the guy with something that it was a belly down armbar, which in practice I go for fairly frequently, but I was thinking about it, and in competition, I almost never go for that. It was like I knew I had to make this count, and so I went for it, and it worked. But that was definitely a moment. Like even Marco came to me afterwards. He's like, "Man, you should be doing that more often in competition." Because like, yeah, I mean, it works. I do it in practice, but yeah, it's not something I usually do in competition. But it was just like I had this knowledge that I needed to make this count because the rest of the team is counting on me. So I ended up finishing the match like that. I guess that's one of the more like obvious times for me that it was like a mental hold up in a match. You know what I mean?
I think it has to do with the pathways that we were talking about. Because you're able to like the mental pathway that you're able to hit that move in practice, but you have like for some reason doing it, executing it in competition. The thing that's why you're able to get it there on the competition that one time.
The fact that I had done it in practice before. What do you
Yes,
mean?
as far as like when you once you got there, you were able to finish it. Was fairly quick. You were able to finish it.
Yeah.
Do you think it had to do with the pathway that you're like just building those reps in practice?
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. It was just, yeah, it was almost to the point. Like I wasn't thinking about the match as much as I was like, I don't know. I had it in my head that I needed to finish this. So like what I was doing in the method didn't matter as much, and I was willing to take more risk.
Was that like a flow state?
Yes, I think so. I think that was the biggest thing, is that like risk was not as big of a deal because I knew I needed to put it out there because at least make it even, I needed to take out 2 guys. And if my first match went the full way, the second match was going to be a lot worse. So it was just kind of like, okay, I might as well go out there and throw it all out there. So it was a little bit more, yeah, I was not as conservative with my energy or anything like that. I think that was definitely beneficial in that case.
You had a sense of urgency for it. But that's also like good thing to practice too. The sense of urgency in practice because you're able to, like for example, the short time. Like, I like to do that short time. 15 seconds left. Okay, time to finish. Time to finish. Try to get a finish move from there. Once you need to hit the button, you lose it by points. You have to go there. Find a submission for where you are.
Yeah, I definitely like to do that as well. Is like when you start hearing short for time, or there's a minute left or 30 seconds left, I do my best not to let myself like die out or anything like that. It's like, okay, now I need to really turn it on. Keep that urgency up.
Another thing about practice I like to is trying to, if you want to try and teach somebody like to go like for a competition, try not to coach them as much because whenever you're in a competition, you won't hear shit. You just go over stuff afterwards, but like try to, as close to the competition, I don't want the person to, just to get those good positions and know what it's supposed to be. Like inherently in them, like just second nature, without somebody having to scream at them, telling them because whether scream or not, you won't be able to hear it in competition because it's so freaking loud.
Yeah. Yep. I had one of my coaches up in Maine. His theory was that he wouldn't tell his people what to do. He would yell out what the other guy was doing. Like if the other guy was trying to sneak something, he would yell that out. He wouldn't tell you what to do because if he's doing that, the other guy's hearing it as well, and so he can counter. But he just didn't want your opponent being able to sneak something in on you. So he would be paying attention to that, which is a interesting one. I feel like not many people do that style of coaching, but I mean, I felt like it worked pretty well for what we did. But
Yeah, that's a good point. It's kind of like I think it's Japan that they do in which they talk to each other, communication. They most like listen and trying to speak as the listener instead of the person talking. How they'll perceive the conversation. For example, you tell somebody that, like you were saying in jiu-jitsu, you tell them what the other guy's doing so you can know what move to go to from that position or that move that the person is trying to or how to defend it.
I mean, yeah, that's the head of thought, and I'm losing it.
What matches?
About let's see, he would call out what people were doing. I mean, yeah, okay, yeah, that was my point. Is that another reason for, I guess, benefit of that style is like there's been quite a few times where if I'm in the winning position, I am listening to the other guy's coach and trying to hear what they're doing. And there's been plenty of times when in the match, like I hear what they're trying to do, and it's like, okay, I'll shut that down. Like
Oh yeah.
I genuinely I remember like specific moments of like, okay, I know what you're doing. It's not gonna happen now. Like,
Sometimes imagine the coach yells something. I want to just yell back, no fucking way. That's not gonna happen. Like it's not gonna happen. Like we're trying, like someone is doing the trying to like, dude, I know what I'm doing. No fucking way
yeah,
can I hit this move on me.
that's really funny. Yeah, no, 100%.
Just yell back. Fuck no. Fuck no.
Do you
Oh
see the color on my belt?
yeah, I do. I don't know what I do. Like for example, I was going out against this guy. They kept saying about elbow pass. But meanwhile, this guy is taller than me. It's like, there's no fucking way this guy's going. In order to do an elbow pass, he had to go under my elbow. I'm freaking like shorter than him. There's no way to do. By the time I'm snapping him down, but he gets that low. There's no way.
It's gonna take way too long to change that much level.
Yeah, no way. Like, dude, it's no going. So every time he'll do elbow pass, I throw underhook. There's no elbow pass from there.
Yeah,
There's no elbow pass. There's no try elbow pass around your armpit.
that's funny.
Well, yeah, man. Like, go back to about like support system. That's a big factor as far as like having a support system like coaches, family, teammates contributing like to a comeback. Because sometimes we just lose track of ourselves and who we are, and just having honest feedback helps a lot. Because sometimes you just really get like, oh man, I lost this match, like I don't have it in me anymore. But I do. You are still alive. You're not injured. You still like just stay back to your game plan, the single plan you have for winning. Stick to that. Don't be in a. Don't just give up and just throw like, for example, like whenever you play Monopoly, you lose and just flip the board. You're still in the game. It's not that. It's not like you have to like, man, you can't. Like, for example, I can think of was Frank Mir. Whenever he had a motorcycle accident, his wife had to like talk him back into fighting. That face of joy whenever he won his first match in the UFC, coming back from the injury. You can see her. I wish I could show you the video. She was in the car screaming, yelling. She's just like frantic, just like he's back, he's back, he's finally back. That's one guy that she was talking about. He went on a tear to become an interim champion after that. But having that feedback of somebody just believing in you because you still got it. It's really, really important.
Yeah, it's the same you as before the loss. You just have more experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is I don't know. That is a really hard one, and that's kind of one thing that like your old coach mentioned is that teach his students is essentially like, your identity is not made off of these matches. If you lose, you're not a loser. It's just, you didn't win that match. But I think it's a really easy thing to fall into is, it's just, you get used to losing or whatever, and it almost feels like it's part of your identity now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And also, it's not just losing. Just think about like another coach that is for NC State. He talks about there's a lot of matches, but don't worry about losses. They'll come and go. Worry and focus on the quality wins. Those are the ones that count. Beat like tough opponent, things like that. Those are the ones. Focus and prepare yourself for those matches because those are the ones that need you the most. Win quality matches. If you lose, we go back in there. It's on me. We're going to break down what happened, how to win, how to work from there, and get you prepared for those quality matches you need to win.
I mean, that definitely seems like the healthier mentality to have. There's your reason for training hard and really in reality, that's a very valid reason to train hard is if you're thinking about the hard opponents, the guys that aren't just going to lay down and give it to you. Yeah, and if there's losses in the between, that's okay. Just got to work harder,
Yeah. Just back on the drawing board. Back on the saddle. Just going be riding. It's good having those feedback because it helps you sometimes because we just get on our heads so much. Just having feedback like, hey man, come on, let's go back here. They help with something, let's go help each other. But chances are I also got caught in the same shit too.
Yeah.
So let's work on that, get better at it. And also having the coach that you talk about, having mentors helps a lot too. Because they have been there, they know what it's like to go through the rough patch.
Right. And they can point out your real weaknesses versus what you're blowing up in your head.
That's what they tell you whenever you are half-assing in practice. Hey man, you want to win?
Yeah. This is where those losses are coming from. It's right here.
You just go back and then let's go back and drum board, man. Let's go get ready for those quality matches. But those are the guys you want to be. You want to be canceled. Okay, that you deserve the win, but because he was given to you, it's not really given to you. No win is given, but you don't so much appreciate some certain wins. I was a bit this guy because of this and that, but just get ready for the best guy. And usually the better guy that you can beat every single time that you're always beating yourself. It's the one guy that's going to show up to your same practice every single time is you. So you can beat that guy from last week practice to this week. And the only way you can get better by beating that guy is by getting better every day or every week whenever you step in the mat. That's the one guy. He's going to show up to practice the same time as you. He's going to the same reps as you. Yep. That's the one you want to be.
No, I mean, definitely. Yeah, having a coach or a teammate or somebody to point out strengths and weaknesses and just getting you back engaged is definitely worthwhile. I feel like teammates are typically better teammates are pretty good at catching you half-assing practice. I feel like that's probably your best call out there. Coaches can point out weaknesses in training or what your focuses need to be, but training partners are the ones grinding against you. So they know very well.
Also, they do that for free. You're not paying them to show you how to do it. They're doing it for free, telling you how you're liking, what you're lacking on, and what you need to work on.
Yeah. It's a very unbiased opinion.
Yeah. It's it's not like you're going to pay me for it. Come here now, man. It's it's work on. You hooked up right here in Cyclotron. I'm going to need belly you the whole 5-minute round. So you get out of here. It's a lurch just to do whenever I have a hard time in bottom. This fucking asshole put me on bottom. Alright, regard. Fuck, man. Your arms are longer than my legs. Regard.
For real.
For north south.
Yeah, he was something else.
Yeah. Shout out to Lurch. That's how he got his nickname.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Lurch. That's how he got his nickname. Because so freaking tall. You look like Lurch from the Monster.
That's funny.
Oh yeah, man. That's a big thing that we usually don't take as much. But yeah, there's something to it. That said, iron sharp as iron.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, as far as direction to go with your technique. I feel like, again, it's your coach. But then, like, a lot of honing your technique comes from your teammates, is that if you do the same thing over and over and over again, they're going to start countering it. And so you have to develop your game further in that area. Yeah, having quality teammates for that and consistent teammates for that, I think, is definitely a valuable thing. Somebody who knows what you're going to go for. So you either have to do it better or you have to distract them in some way or, something along those lines.
Yeah, have a option B. They know how to defend it from there. Because just as you practicing and getting better, they practicing and defending it better too. You don't want to be one trick pony either. That's where the plan B comes in.
Right. I feel that also has that also is kind of the benefit of having different skills of training partners, some that are not as good, some that are the same, and some that are better. Because I think all of those give good looks to whatever technique you're trying to develop. The newer guys, you can kind of try new forms of it. The guys that are your skill level is like a good test of, is this legit or should I, try something new? And then the guys who are better, I mean, they can show you how well that move translates into new things, if that makes sense. Like how well it transitions into different moves. Because a lot of times with somebody who's better than you, you're not going to get what you're going for immediately. You have to transition to something different.
Yeah. That's what I think when it comes handy when those people that are better than you, that's why you have to work on those defense into attacks. That's why you can get better in there because you have to is that room for error is this small and you have to fit your whole body in there.
Yes.
You're if you have to do it it was more realistic what matches are like because there's certain points whenever you're in a bad position, you try to go get out of a bad position, defending something and attack with something else. And best case scenario, you get out of the position. You won't get a submission, but you get out of that position. But man, it's going to be a struggle. It's going to be long freaking practices. It's getting wore out. A lot of guys in my gym, they're starting to go do a lot of leg lock stuff. It's oh my God. Yeah, I wear shoes. Yeah, I wear shoes. So that's the reason why I wear shoes. Is because it's hard for me to get out of leg lock stuff.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, it definitely gives you a better bite or your opponent a better bite.
Yeah. So I have to force myself to get out of those bad positions and not let it finish.
Almost to avoid those positions, because really a lot of getting out of the position is like straightening your ankle or whatever. And that, I mean, I'm thinking like heel hooks and stuff like that. A lot of that you got to straighten your ankle, and it's not really an option in a shoe.
Oh no, I have better grip on my heel too.
Mm-hmm.
Because the hell I shoe to all the torque it.
Yeah, you got to avoid that deep danger.
But yeah. So I'm trying to work on that. And yesterday I went with Devin. It's oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go. Time to show up. So I have to just be able to not get in those. I was able to in a leg lock, but I was able to change that angle. So you're able to, and then you just defend with the other leg to get out there. I got caught with that inside heel hook with Nick. So I almost turned the wrong way. So I turned the other way. I was able to go there. So that's a tough one.
Yeah.
But that's what practices are for.
Well, that's the thing. Like, he's a good person to learn with. Yeah, like Devin would be a good person to learn with because you turn the wrong way, they're not gonna destroy your knee. You train with the wrong guy, and they're gonna just rip that. But
yeah,
training with
or given.
But yeah, no, that's definitely. And Devin is crazy. Like the number of competitions that I've seen him go into where the guys know full well exactly what he's going for, and they just don't have an answer. It's crazy to me. That just shows the level of his experience and the level of his skill is the people can know exactly what he's going for, and they're trying to avoid it, but they just can't. Like the last fight to win was just like that. The guy knew exactly what he was going for. He just had no answer.
After the last 2 years, I've been learning, watching leg entries and attacks. So I've been trying to work on those, watching those instructional. So he has 2 of them, but 3 of them, for Ashy Infinity 2 series, and then he has another one, Ashy May Easy, something like that. So I've been watching them, and they also watch the Fox. He has a lot of leg lock defense. He attacks on there, especially like defense into like going to back take from a Ashy. And so yesterday I spent most of the day because I can't remember when I went there. People keep going for Achilles or toeholds every time. So oh my god, here we go again. So yesterday I spent like whenever I was like I have free time, I like I was doing working or something like that. I was just working on like I was just watching like some videos in the background. Had to escape out of those bad positions. Uh, false reap, De La Hiva, yeah, actually in those kind of there. So whenever I was in practice, I know how to defend those positions. That to be from there. But like yesterday, I felt comfortable that I wasn't caught in a heel hook.
Yeah.
He was in turtle most of that round. So I would like put my leg between his leg. So like getting like I started like getting to move out of turtle. And then
Yeah.
he would like, and then I just move my leg out. Still like you fucker. But it was like just like it felt good, but they just keep practicing. They're just those because this is a different game. You also have the advantage of having thick, short legs. So you would like it's so there. I'll move my knees certain way. I'll be able like then able to get a good grip of my hip either.
Right. Right.
But I want to get better at that those leg locks because I got this guy. He had me in a Achilles. I was able to get a top on him because he just left his like foot hanging on there. He doesn't know how to like not to leave it hanging. Instead of going back to 50-50 or something like that.
That's the thing. Yeah. Like toe holds and like steamer locks are right there a lot of the time. It's just you got to know to go for them. And really, if you learn to do that, it opens up a lot of game. Because, I mean, there's a lot of the time where you're not going to get those, but it forces them to react. And
Yeah,
that's the beauty of them.
it takes away the guard too
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah,
it's so,
exactly.
for the Ashy. Just that's one thing I started to do. Whenever you go for Ashy, take out that outside leg. It drops straight to mount.
Okay. Yep.
So okay, so knee out, leg out. Boom! I step to my outside. I keep him away on the leg that I'm attacking. Step to the
Mm-hmm.
outside. Go straight to mount.
Yep.
So, now if they once they lose the leg over here, they're bringing the across. Now from there, grabbing that foot and bringing it down. So give it away from my hip
Mhm.
and just twist it away from it. So
Right.
they reverse and just go to their back. From
Mhm.
there,
So you're kind of keeping their legs open while you're doing that, right? Is that what you're saying?
no, one of them is open. So when I do it for the mount, now if they come back, I lose that leg. For example, they use lasso around.
Mhm.
Now if the lasso around, I have to push that leg, the one on the outside, push it down and just spin with it. And knee or belly. I want to like keep letting my leg hanging out there because my foot is gonna come off the ground. Now if we putting chin across, I put the knee on belly and try to bring my leg down a little, my foot a little bit lower, and then I spin as I spin, and then lose my knee line from there. So once I spinning, my knee belly is right here. I just lean back as I just like scoop, and go to the back from there. Kind of like pinning into the backside, half guard kind of, but they only have my calf. They don't have my knee line from there because I put a pressure on the other leg, pushing it down. If my knee line's out of the way, pin the bottom leg, and you have to spin it back out of there. Their guards collapse, the legs collapse, so they're not able to go from there. There's a calf slicer from there, but he has to have control of that foot, the outside foot. Do like a figure four and catch my hip from there. But if they don't, if I have that foot going like across, then they're able to go for the calf slice anymore either. Because I'm pinning the hips down.
Mhm.
Then they're able to sit up as well. I see a video for it.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah.
Because the Fox, he was doing this and he had bad knees when they were trying to show he had both knee braces. So he had to look correct, otherwise he was going to be bad news.
Yeah. Dang.
But shout out to the Silver Fox.
Yep.
Boom, hey man. Just those also deliberate practice is a good thing too. Like during hiatus, those deliberate practice to get better in bad positions because you don't have a danger or losing a match because you don't have a match. You just practicing. Don't look at those competition practices as matches. They're just competition practices. And those are the bad positions you want to get good at. So whenever you get in a bad position in a match, you already been there. Instead of defending it for a 3 minute, 5 minutes, 10-minute match, you've been practicing for 1 hour practices for so many weeks you've been there.
Excellent.
Another thing like I want to talk about was facing doubts about fitness, skill levels, and competitiveness. It's part was facing doubt in fitness. One of the things is in matches. Whenever you go in there and you go warm up and you feel your heart rate just go do, and you feel like, oh man, I'm going to get tired. Just think about that is adrenaline. It's not really that you're getting tired. Don't think about like, oh, don't think like you get, instead of like figuratively gas tank is actually a gas tank and you're a quarter of a tank. You started. You're ready to warm up. Just know that for example, you talked about last week about temperature difference going from heat to cold, cold to hot. You feel the big jump. Once if you already warm up, the big jump is not going to be as high compared to when you cold. You're never like, oh man, everything just rushed to your fingertips. This adrenaline, oh freaking time. No, it's just you're already warm. You're ready for your match. Adrenaline's in there. Adrenaline is non-factor unless you let it happen. When you have adrenaline dump, things like that. But don't worry about that until after the match. That's when adrenaline dumps really comes in play.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's definitely something. That's definitely something that gets me. When I get into a match and like I feel too amped, I start thinking too much about, conserving energy. I get myself into a lot of trouble with that. But no, that's a valid point. It's that's what the warm up's for, is to show you, amp up to that a little bit. And then once you get into the match, it's less of a dramatic step up to, that heart rate or whatever.
So whenever like I'm not even for a match, it's like to pump people out, just like to just get it, because that's adrenaline. Just like, okay, this is where it's gonna feel. This is the loud that you want to hear. This is what you want to hear when you're in competition. So okay, here we go. This is storm. This is what it's gonna feel like for everybody. Chances are people don't care. That's what you're supposed to think of when you're in competition. People don't care. The only people that should care are the ones that were there doing your reps when you get ready for these matches. Those are the only ones. Other than that, they don't care. Even that person's not here with me. It's not like two of us is going to go against the same guy. It's me and him and the referee. Those are the only those are the only factors you should think of during a match. Look at the task at hand. Just like you talked about the armbar, the one task you were working on, keeping the arm in there, finishing. Task at hand.
Yeah. Not worried about past, present, future. It's just like, well, not worried about past and future, I should say. Only worried about the present objective.
Or the like non-factor things. For example, for you, they put the wrong songs. Like, they fucked up my match because they put the wrong song.
Yeah.
Like those minimal things. Like, don't worry about it.
Right.
Like, you trip, like taking your shoe off. Like, oh, that's bad luck. I don't want to go. No, man, fuck it. It's no factor.
Yeah, that's just a past experience at this point.
Yeah, I was thinking about like one thing to practice is Joko practiced this with his kids. He called it normal face. So like when you're like something happens, not factor. And you just practice normal face. So one thing those rolls of gift wraps that you for Christmas for the present, those big rolls.
Yeah.
He have those empty ones and he'll like go like face their kids and go against each other. So one will grab there and they'll whack him in the head. And then they can't make any face. You make a face, you lose the game. The name of the game is called normal face. So you have to keep so they hit each other. And like just try to keep like normal face the whole time. So that's like if you're in competition, you would have the normal face regardless, win, lose, or just like adversity. You just keep the normal face and keep everything not factor. Just focus on the task at hand. You'll be a lot better because you are focused on the things that matter and not things that don't matter.
That is interesting. That's an interesting scenario. I'll have to I feel like that's something you could practice throughout, just randomly in life, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like normal face, like, I don't know. I feel like that's something I could look for. I can't think of any scenarios right now, but
I think one guy I can think of he's a master of that. Alex Ferreira. Chama, same face everywhere.
Yep.
He's a killer.
Yep. Where you get yourself in a stressful scenario and it's just like, you just remind yourself to straight face. No, don't react.
It's kind of like poker, just poker
Right.
face.
That's interesting. I'll have to give that more of a shot.
Just like when you practice, whenever you're going hard, practice is going hard, you like take it like that, man. Just get up, that's it. You in between rounds, just normal face. It's nothing.
Don't show
So,
it. Don't show you're tired. You're not tired.
no, no, let's show it. And you'll be surprised how much better you'll get that way because you're like, oh, the energy that you're wasting on showing how tired you are,
Yeah.
I can use it for recovering.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd be surprised how much better you're at recovering that you tire yourself being tired.
I'll have to give that a shot.
Those tires doesn't live here. Just like,
That's not possible.
yeah. And the only thing you have to work on really is just breathing. That's all you have to do.
Right. That's true. Really, yeah. If you focus on like calmly breathing, that takes most of your focus anyway. It's just if you concentrating on not just breathing out of your mouth and like huffing and puffing, but like no, breathe in control, breathe out control. That's yeah, definitely.
It'll help you too in bad scenarios. Somebody had knee on belly, you, yeah.
Yeah.
You just control breathing.
Yeah. I got very good at that actually. The poker face during knee on belly.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm very good at that. My coach used to love to do that to me.
I used to like doing that, like knee on belly.
Yeah.
Just, oh, got you, bitch.
Well, that's 100% true though. Like if you're doing that to your opponent and you hear any like gurgle or a gasp or something like okay, he's hurting.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is my game now.
Yeah. Now, to think about it, I have better casting now than you do because you're just, I try to get you down to E right now. You want to just empty my tank. Not getting changes in sports and competition landscape after time away. Like I would say, like just practicing move that you haven't be able to practice when you're in competition because it's hard for you to do move that you're comfortable with because it's go. You want to be confident. You go into your match. So you practice a move that you're not comfortable with. It's not going to help you get that confidence that you need. New moves, you have to learn them like before 6 weeks out or like before 4 weeks before your match. Then just sharpening those tools just where you go for.
Yeah, no, that's 100%. Yeah, it's really not worth learning new moves. Although I will say the one counter, I guess you'd call it counter, I don't know, is if you figure out you're going against an opponent and you find their like very strong move, I will say some of the like counters and stuff like that, those can be practiced in a little bit of time beforehand.
Yeah.
Because those can come in handy. But
Yeah.
yeah, as far as like honing your game, yeah, for sure. Don't
I mean, like, if he's good at that one move, don't practice that one move that he does. Because
yes, okay, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, you want to like, of course, you want to get better at defending his move, but you want to get practice the same move that he's doing. I'm gonna do the same move to him. Like, dude,
I'm gonna do it better.
Yeah, like
In
dude,
2 weeks that he's been
guy
doing
has
it 2
been
years.
doing it for years. Like, he'll do the same thing to him.
That's valid. Yes. Yeah, chances are he knows the weaknesses of his own move. So,
and you know how to, you know how to defend it too.
yeah, that's very, very true.
I also want to like notable comeback stories. Have you ever listened to a story of Tyson Fury when he came the heavyweight champion for the first time?
I'm not sure.
So he had a long podcast about it. I'm trying to summarize it, but he is named Tyson Fury because his dad said that when his son was going to become that world heavyweight champion of the world, named after Mike Tyson. I think his dad and his uncle were gypsy boxers, bare knuckle boxers. He worked himself to get good at boxing, and at the time, the Klitschko brothers were on top, Vladimir and Vitaly. So whenever he was trying, his road to become a champion, he had to face, I think it was Vladimir Klitschko. Vladimir Klitschko was a guy that's done. He's built like a freaking Adonis, just like rip as shit. But meanwhile, Tyson Fury doesn't have the genetic. Let's say he didn't have much love for his dad because he had the face that only a mother could love. But he was like genetic, like gifted, 6'9" boxer, but he was like really technical. And he found his way and he beat Klitschko a decision. And then before his match, they asked him, what are you going to do after you beat Klitschko? Because this is the one dragon that you have been chasing. And he said, I probably fall into manic depress because I don't know what else to do. And sure enough, that's what happened. Whenever he became a champion, they wanted him to do immediate rematch, but he was able to do because he had other agreements for they stripped the title for him. And that's when he blew up to like 410 pounds, something like that. That's when you saw him like in pictures whenever in Halloween. It's a big fat guy dressed in a skeleton Halloween costume because the fat skeleton. And he was just he had never done drugs before. After he won that fight, he was started doing cocaine, doing alcohol, just spending all the hours of the night. He's married at the time, but he was just partying it up. And then one point he was driving, he was going to drive his car off a bridge. And he was going driving, and all of a sudden he heard this voice says, no, don't. And then he like decided to turn his life around because this is the point of a fighter. I think at the time he was undefeated. He was in the highs. And for some reason, mentally, he just went manic depressed because the dragon that he was chasing was not there anymore. And you know what was after that? He found like kind of like lost his purpose of the one thing that he was working for towards. And then what's his name? Deontay Wilder challenges. Yeah, I'll beat the fuck out of him. And they're like, okay. So he decided to work himself back. Told his wife that he was going back to working out the next day. Yeah, sure. Sure enough, started run. He think he's trying to run 2 miles. The first time, he was able to run 20 minutes. So he ran 20, like, he was just like, was able to run a little bit down the street, and then he walked the rest of the way. And worked his way up, and then he was able to, I think he lost 105 pounds. I can't remember what time period. He came back, he beat his first guy, and then he had to fight Deontay Wilder. I think he got for the title. And when he was fighting him, Deontay Wilder rocked him and dropped him in the 10th round in the top 5. And then he was trying to dig deep when he was there. Like, I didn't work this hard for me to lose and get knocked out by Deontay Wilder in the 10th round. Won these 9 rounds. Deontay Wilder had an answer. He just called me this. And he almost like just got off, get beat that 8 count. And they came back and started going forward. And that's what he found out. Deontay Wilder doesn't have to box going backwards. Just put out him and beat him the rest of the match. And he became a champion. Beat Deontay Wilder.
Wow. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess really his route to a comeback was his goal.
His redemption, just being better, like, because he was just little. The Klitschko's were the one that he had to go through the champion. Well, that dragon was not there anymore. There wasn't a champion. He just like lose purpose. And do you know the one thing? He probably had some things that he was holding back, and he was like put it to the side, and they didn't acknowledge it. But then when everything, all the lights went out, the crowd went away. That's when I found out he had to like, oh man, I had to face these things. And it doesn't seem like it just dark demons that he had to fight. And he was coping it with self-medication, out drugs and alcohol, trying to stay away from there, like, because training was part of it, but now you got the title strip, you don't have a match, you have been suspended. So like then took away his livelihood.
Mm-hmm.
So like, dude, what do I do now? I lost like that, like the coach was saying, or T was talking about. He let his title, or like his being a boxer, became his identity instead of being a thing that he does.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I feel like that happens a lot though. I mean, I don't know what it is with humans and our objectives, but
is there
seems
certain
like
thing that said that you are what you do? Do you think it has to do something with that?
who said that?
I'm not sure what I heard, but you usually are what you do. So if whatever you do, that's what you are. So it becomes kind of like your identity, but not necessarily your identity.
Yeah, I feel like it's a very normal thing. I mean, you ask people like, I feel like you ask a lot of people like, who are you? And they'll tell you like what job they're doing, what career they do. And really, I feel like that's a lot of, I mean, really whatever you do, I think it can happen, whether it's, grappling or, a career to you. It's something you put a lot of time into. It becomes, in your mind, it becomes who you are.
It becomes your identity.
Yeah.
Because you work so hard, it takes so much work to do it too.
Right.
Because you are like, no, who are you really? Who are you?
Yeah. I mean, and I guess it kind of makes sense is because like a lot of us put, we're putting 8 hours a day, 5 days a week at least into our jobs. And that's the majority of our lives, you know? So yeah, I think it's very prone to becoming our identity. And so, setbacks in like the one thing we're devoting most of our time into, it can be very detrimental to our mentality.
Yeah. Welders will, janitor, engineer. Then there's
Mm-hmm.
become part of it, and then just
Mm-hmm.
little setbacks. It can trickle into your personal life as well.
Mm-hmm.
But don't let it be your identity. Different layers.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I can definitely say, like, even for personal experience, like, there's been times, like, at work when things are, like, super stressful, super chaotic. It's like, it can almost feel like it's, like, the one thing I'm good at, I'm failing at, you know what I mean? So it definitely becomes, it feels like it's who you are. But if you're able to take the step back and realize, like, this is not me, like, something I'm invested in, I think that is a huge thing, a huge benefit.
Give you a perspective, full picture. To be so target fixated.
I think the downside is that, well, so the nice thing about like jiu-jitsu and things like that is you usually have a coach, somebody who's, looking out for your well-being versus, work and stuff. You usually have a boss who is more caring about the results than they are about you,
That's
typically.
true. It's a valid point. Yeah, you fucked up, man.
Exactly.
You fucked up my numbers.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good valid point. But because like they don't really care about making things right. They don't like, hey man, you did this, we help with this. Like, no, I need to do this right here. You fuck this up for me. Ooh. It's like the dad with holding the flashlight kind of scenario.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, oh no, son, come here, let me hold your wrist. Or you say, nah, man, put the fucking light right here. I like that. But hey, man, like just being able like to overcome things. Everybody lost a comeback story and a hero story, but I mean that story has to have adversity that's really, really dark sometimes. And in life we have those bad setbacks and you have to like something reach through someone. Like for example, Marcelo Garcia, he had you listen to his post interview about if you have something bad, will you share with someone? Because that's the only way you to get help. And if you would like to have an issue like say adversity, like do like share. Some people might not care, but those that do care are the ones that matter, and they'll be able to help you. They're out there. They're able to help you.
I think that's definitely in every stage. And honestly, it's kind of nice. I feel like jiu-jitsu kind of offers an avenue for that because it offers you people that are very close to you that start to really care about you in more than just jiu-jitsu. But yeah, if you, I definitely it's part of the reason to have good friends who are there, like have your back is like you have somebody to talk to when you're having a hard time outside of what you're like outside of jiu-jitsu and in work and stuff like that. I mean, a lot of times it is just huge to have somebody that has your well-being in mind who can offer that outside perspective. Very important because it's really hard when you're caught up in things to take a step back and actually see what's going on. But yeah.
That's having the support as well too.
Mm-hmm.
It goes a long way.
Mm-hmm.
Like you say, jiu-jitsu, so that it can be a lonesome journey, but also you have people that come along the way journey to help. And there's a book that I read my daughter recently about support and love. As long as you have love and support, there always be hope.
Right. Yeah.
You always have, because that's one last thing you want to lose hope
Mm-hmm.
on whatever it might be.
Yeah, I think that's kind of I feel like a lot of the reason people love the comeback story is because most everybody has some idea of how freaking hard that is, But at the same time, I feel like it's people who don't care about you don't necessarily want you to have that comeback story. It's a very strange thing, but I genuinely believe that like people that aren't like really invested in who you are, either they don't care about your comeback story or they genuinely don't want it to happen for whatever reason. I feel like it's like almost eliminating the competition mentality that people
Yeah.
have.
Yeah. Also, maybe their ego too. So they go to you. Also, an example I can think of, it's not so much like a mentor that you look up to. Sometimes like the help might come from somebody else. Like I can think of somebody's looking up to you. Like, for example, there's an example, this woman, her name is Amaya Montero. She's part of this band called The Ear of Van Gogh, La Oreja de Van Gogh. She's like really famous, like back in the early 2000s. Along the way, I think her father passed away, and she just went back depressed, checked herself into a institution, and she posted pictures like she didn't look anything like she used to do back in the day, because she was like she let herself go, and she was so like fighting like her own personal things. And this girl, I don't know if you hear Carol G. She's a famous singer. When she went back, the girl Montero, she's from Spain. So when she had her tour, she went to Spain and she reached out to Montero because she was one of our favorite artists when she was growing up. And she hasn't been on the stage for like 2 or 3 years because she was having a hard time overcoming this. And she reached out to her like, hey, I'm a big fan of yours. Will you be willing to perform this song that you're famous for me? And she went up there and performed for everybody, and the pop was crazy. Everybody just lost their shit like she is back. Then just having a fan or somebody to look up to you, just rekindle that light. Like, come on, you have this in you. Please, like, let's show the world that you still have it. Because you're able to, let's help you back, getting back to where you were before. Like sometimes like you have people not so much that are helping you along the way, but like new fans or like people that are looking up to you, whether it's fan or one of your own kids that bring you out of that bad situation to help you become better.
There's somebody who believes you can, do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful to see.
Mm-hmm.
It's the comeback story.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And another example would be Marcelo too. Marcelo
Right.
Garcia, because these kids have never seen him compete.
Really?
Yeah, they're that young. He hasn't competed in 13 years.
I didn't realize. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Coming up back after cancer, the kids have never seen you fight. Like they don't know necessarily who he is, but he came back well too. I mean, to be honest, I don't know his opponent that well, but I mean, he was very dominant in that, and like the techniques that he displayed are just beautiful.
Yeah, I think Imanari is known for leg locks.
Okay. Yep.
The Imanari roll.
Yeah. I was wondering, is he the guy that came up with that? Okay. Yeah, I figured it must be, but that is interesting. He really didn't even have a chance at leg locks that I saw.
He was just shut him down completely.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. Marcelo is
1990s, early 2000s Marcelo Garcia.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think that he was, I think, a year out from remission.
Right.
Make yourself hard to kill in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. He finished with like it was a north-south-ish, wasn't
it? Yeah.
It just shows like that's one move that I really like. But when I saw him finish it, I was like, dang, I don't know how he's getting pressure right now. It just shows how much more I have to study with that move. But
yeah. And also he had also another interesting one. The lock pick was one thing. And also here over and under for north south. Once the position. So, I never thought about doing that because
like over the shoulder and like under the armpit. What do you mean?
Because I think he went side control. He went over under from their position, and that's how he got to north south. I never locked my arms behind somebody's back. Went on side control to get there because he, like when you try to go for a dart,
right?
But he lost the arm. But once the arm got lost, he just went straight from north south and finished from there. I thought he was going to go for a dart from there because I always like to go for darts for side control. If I go attack the forearm, I'm able to get it. He's able to lose it. I'll go for the head, then go for a dart from there. But I never go for a dope over under to control the position. And he
That's a
just
valid point. I can see how it would be very controlling.
it actually prevents for him from inverting
Right.
when he went over under. Because in order for you to invert, you have to be able to get your hips elevated, but was able to elevate the head with over under. He negated that for the north south, because usually north south you push the hips away from the opponent, invert, try to go take the back, but he negated that by just over under elevating that.
That is interesting. Yeah, the guy who created the Imanari roll is probably going to be very prone to inverting. So Marcelo probably knew exactly what he was doing there.
Yeah, and they get it all that. It's like, wow.
Yeah. It really does show just the insane level of jiu-jitsu that he has. Because it all looks so basic. He makes it look so simple and so basic. But clearly it's very well thought out and very, it just all has a purpose.
Fundamental in every position.
Right.
The fundamentals of the game. Do you know the only guy that never lost to him? I think O.J. Gracie was the only one that didn't lose to him.
Really?
And look at the monster that he is.
Wow. Yeah. That would be a match to see.
Mm-hmm. Wait, he was Aoki next. After when I say Aoki, the DJ? You want to go with it? But no, I asked Devin, he's like, no, it's the old school guy that's back in the day. But he said, want to see it against K or one of Rutelo's brother. It's like, no, man, you gotta kill the guy.
Yeah, for real.
Or maybe Gary Tonin. Yeah, I see Gary Tonin because Gary Tonin was coming up as Marcelo was retiring. So I can see that match.
Yeah, I can see that for sure.
Because also he's in 1 too. He signed with 1, same weight class.
Yep.
That would be a problem.
Gary Tonin's got a very, I get unique game for sure, but like unpredictable game, which would be interesting to see for Marcelo because, his last opponent, probably a fairly predictable game, and he had his number, he shut him down, but like somebody who's less predictable, it would be interesting to see what kind of adaptations Marcelo can come up with, because I'm sure he has plenty.
Because he has a well-rounded guy too.
Right.
When it comes to Gary Tonin, because it's a different game. Imanari, you don't really love this.
Yeah.
But Gary Tonin was known for what Lion Killer was because of Mataleon. Rear naked choke was known for. Then he went leg lock. So they have like different things that you can attack from. But man, that's it for another like guy that was trained in New York, Gary Tonin. Because that's why his school is Marcelo's. I've seen a video whenever Marcelo was rolling with Ben Askren. I was like, this levels. Ben Askren is a good grappler when you see with him, like, oh, he's good. And he's the nicest guy that you get to go. Whenever he was made, they didn't put a single speck of ego on that guy. He's always nice, always smiling. Marcelo Garcia.
Yeah. That was one of the coaches we met down in Atlanta. That was one thing he said, because he apparently started training under Marcelo, and like just as a brand new guy, Marcelo learned his name, and that blew him away because it was like Marcelo took the time to learn his name as a white belt, which is crazy. Yeah.
So it's cool, David. Remember that like white belts.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, after saying that, I feel bad saying it, but to be honest, a lot of white belts I don't bother learning the name because a lot of them don't show back up.
Yeah, they don't.
After they come for a bit, okay, yeah, I'll learn your name, but like a lot of them, like obviously I'm not going to be unfriendly, but at the same time, it's like you're probably not going to be here in a couple of weeks. So,
do you have you they're talking about somebody? It's like, who's that again?
Exactly.
All right, no, that was his name.
Yeah,
but yeah, man, he's a nice guy. And look, it's Dylan Dennis. It's like the opposite of him. You see Marcelo Black Belt? It's Dylan Dennis, a Marcelo Black Belt.
Don't know that one, actually.
Let's look it up. For some reason, I want to say he got Black Belt than Marcelo. Marcelo kicked him out of the school.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Because he's so shy. No, go ahead. Dylan Dennis. Yep. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Black Belt on the Marcelo Garcia.
Wow.
Total opposite.
Wow.
His voice sounded like Brigatoni.
Like Brigatoni?
Yeah. I was the Marcelo's voice during the interview. He's like shouting and stuff like that. It might be a lot of what's the machine goes in those rants.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Marcelo is a nice guy, man.
Yeah.
What advice would you give athletes that are facing setback and has this return to competition? Your personal opinion, personal experiences.
I mean, I feel like I feel like I'm not a great example of it, but I feel like probably just focusing on what's in front of you, really acknowledging that the loss is not self-defining and that it's just experience under your belt, but the focusing on the future and focusing on the training to come and what needs to happen to improve the weaknesses is really the objectives.
Yeah, I'll agree with you. Setback and things like that. And just, I've been taking some time off, like whenever they're competing. For example, 2014 was my last match. Then I competed 2021. Then I was able to compete for a stretch, then stop in 2023, and then compete till like that was May 2023, and then come back to December 2024. Then just focus on getting better on the mat. The wins will come. Don't worry or don't get so overwhelmed by losing matches in which you're not getting paid for. If you're doing it for free and you lose these matches, don't worry. Your mom is not counting those. Your kids are not counting those. Why are you counting those? You listen for free. Don't worry about it. Just worry about getting better and winning. You focus on winning, how to get better at winning. And eventually, you'll get, if you want to make this a profession, you get paid by winning. But focus, in order for you to get there, you have to win, get better at winning, and how to win. That's what you have to do. So setbacks are part of the process at times. So not everybody is just like freaking BJ Penn, 3-year black
Right.
like world champion. Now it's an outlier. It's a guy that he lost. He like decided to quit because he was the same age as Gordon Ryan. And Gordon Ryan was about to get his black belt, and he was that good competing in worlds. Like, dude, that is Gordon Ryan. He has a good coach. He's a like outlier when it comes to competing. Nicky Rod, blue belt, was able to make it to the finals in IBGF ADCC. Like, yeah, he's doing that, but also he was doing wrestling before then. So don't worry about like what people do. Just because somebody's doing better than you doesn't mean that you're shit. You get better and rise up and go like try to compete against those people.
Yeah.
They're not gonna give it to you. Like you for sure don't wanna lay down for them. You have to do it. Put in the reps that count when nobody's watching. So when they're watching, you're winning. That's what you have to focus on.
Yeah. The spotlight tends to be on those who are outliers, not those who are, making the way up the ladder steadily.
Yeah. Same thing in life. You just have setbacks that are coming, just working on those things that give like being better. And don't let those overwhelm you. And don't non-factor things become factor. Normal phase. Just get better. Or like just because the challenge come work, don't let it become a big setback. Like, oh man, like this is like my boss is gonna bring this up every time. No man, if you're better at this, you fucked up, just own up to it, apologize for it, and just show them that you can do better. And just same thing. We have argument with a loved one, tell them you fucked up here, own up to it. That's how you're gonna do better. Just hard life. In every aspect, just looking on the mats, justice, same thing in life. Just own up to it. Like take perspective of it. Don't let it overwhelm you. Just focus on getting better. And you're surprised how minimal things will go away that way.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I've
Do you have any more points you want to bring up?
should let that pretty well summed it up, honestly. Pretty good wrap up for it.
Yeah. Let me put this up. So thank you again for listening to Matt Matters Podcast. We had a great topic today about winning. Have to win, but also be mindful of those setbacks. Like guys again, you can listen to us on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, iTunes. Till next time, this is Nate, Darren, we're out.